Welcome to the intro training exercises for Sharperlight and SAP Business 1. This is exercise 4, 5 and 6. Please follow the video carefully and if needed, use the PDF listed within the description for further information. Exercise 4 has 3 parts, A to C covering standard lookups, non-contiguous filter ranges and operators. Exercise 5 has 2 parts, A to B covering date lookups and operators, and exercise 6 covers sorting and top n rows. Exercise 4 continues with the query we defined in exercise 2. On the surface, the filters in the query builder might look simplistic with single values and ranges, but they allow complex filtering through the use of operators and the multi-selection of values. There are also more advanced filter options which provide a wide range of filter attributes. For example, setting the filter behavior to be single values only, or forcing the filter values to be evaluated as case insensitive. Open the lookup on GL account code and click on the Clear button. This clears your filter parameters for from and to. This lookup shows a list of available account codes. Scroll down until you see the code for 400,000. We want to select a range between 400,000 and 400,040. When selecting in the lookup, a single click will only highlight. You need to double click to properly select a row. Double click on the code 400,000. The from parameter will update. Now, double click on the code 400,040. Our to parameter will update. Click OK. We should see our filter parameters have updated for geo account codes. Preview the query. We should see rows for accounts only between 400,000 and 400,040. Return to the query. Open the lookup for geo account codes again. This time we want to multi-select codes. Find the code for 400,000 and hold the Control key while clicking 400,000 and 410,000 for domestic and foreign sales revenue. Click OK. You should see the filter parameters update for geo account code. This time there is an in operator followed by a list. The in is a code for in list, which is then followed by a list, typically which is comma delimited. Preview the query and we should see data return for the account codes 400,000 and 410,000. Please note that you can also denote a range within the list too. A list has individual values separated by a comma, whereas a range has 2 full stops between its values. You can combine both commas and ranges for even more complex lists. Return to the query. Another code is the exclamation point, which is used for not. Select the from parameter for geo account code and press the F2 key. We can then add an exclamation point before the in operator for not in list. Preview the query and we should now see all account codes that are not 400,000 and 410,000. For exercise 5, we will use another table as we want to look at date filters. For our new query, we'll make sure we're still on the mode of summary report. Our company is still OEC Computers UK, but now we'll open the table lookup and under the Purchasing AP folder, select the Purchasing AP table. You can also use the lookup to find this table. Our mandatory filters will populate, but we'll also want to add a filter. Find Document Date in the selection pane. Click and drag it into the Filters pane. This is how you add filters from the selection pane. Next, we'll change the filter parameters for the document date to 2012-01-01 and 2012-12-31. We use the format year, month, day, as this is the international format. You can choose other formats based on your regional settings, but when in doubt, use this format. You can also use the lookup on date filters, where you can use a calendar lookup. A drop-down for options for offsets also exists. Lastly, we'll add the outputs, vendor code, BP name from the business partner join, and document total. Preview the query and we should see data for document dates within the range of the year 2012. Return to the query. Operators can also be used for filters. Change the from parameter for document date to greater than. This should make the filter return data for only when the document date is after the 31st of December 2012. Other operators are also available. For exercise 6, we'll use the query from exercise 5a. So we'll have to set the document date back to 2012-01-01 to 2012-12-31. By default, the query, if no adjustments are made, are sorted by the first 3 outputs, and each are in ascending order. In the output options, we can set the sorting of the query, and can also change if a field is either in ascending or descending order. Right-click on Document Total and go to Options. Then select the Sorting and Grouping tab. Here we have our Unsorted Outputs pane and the Sorted Outputs pane. Below are the grouping options, which are available when you select an output from the sorted pane. Please note that the sorting and grouping pane is shared for all outputs, so you do not need to open the options on any particular output to be able to change the settings for all outputs. We want to add Document Total to the sorted pane. You can either double-click to do this, or select the output and click on the right arrow. You can move outputs out of the sorted pane with the left arrow. Now we want to change Document Total to be in descending order. Make sure it's selected. Click on the down arrow for descending order. You can change outputs back to ascending with the up arrow button. Click OK to save your changes. Next, we want to change how many rows are returned. By default, queries return the first 20,000 rows. You can right-click over the table filter to go to the options window for the query. In the top options section, we can see it's at the default setting of all rows, which returns the first 20,000 rows if no adjustments are made. We'll select top n rows, then we can set our value for n. Change it to 5, then click on OK. Preview the query. We should see our query is now sorted by descending document total and returns the top 5 rows. This is how you can create a typical report for something like top 5 vendors. This concludes the training for exercise 4, 5 and 6 for SAP Business 1. For more information and in-depth explanations, please refer back to the training PDF.